I'm James Ernest, and today we're playing Ducks and Geese. Ducks and Geese is actually the original game for the Vines deck. The Vines deck was made for this game, and then a whole bunch of other trick-taking games were sort of developed in the same family. The Vines deck is set in the Carousel universe. We've got lots of other fiction and other games set in that universe. The deck is a 5-suited deck. It's got 11 cards in each suit, so that's 55 cards altogether. The face cards are King, Bishop, Farmer, and Tar. Those work in alphabetical order except for the King, which is out of order, but you have no trouble placing the King. And then the Ace is actually higher than that for these trick-taking games. So Ace, King, Bishop, Farmer, Tar is the top of the range. And then the bottom numbers are Deuce through 7 in 5 different suits. Ducks and Geese is a partners trick-taking game, so if you know trick-taking games, a lot of this will be familiar to you. I'm going to go through the details anyway, just in case you're not, but basically, I'm partnered with my buddy Giant over here, and we're playing against Changeling and Will W. These are just button men from around the house. So I start by dealing every player a hand of 7 cards. The role of dealer is going to rotate to the left after every hand. Fairly familiar. And again, I'm partnered with the player across the table. We are going to look at our hands. We're going to bid once around the table how many points we think our team can take. And that bid only can increase. It only goes around once, and the minimum bid is 3. Now, the points in the game for the bidding team, for the team that wins the bid, tricks are worth points. And for everyone, there are point cards, the Ducks and Geese in the title of the game. Ducks are Deuces, and Geese are the farmer cards, each of which does have a goose on the card. And of course, in the history of the game, it's not quite clear whether the cards were made with geese on them because this was already the name of the game, or if the name of the game changed and the geese were added, or whatever. The actual truth of the matter is the whole deck used to be different, and this game used to have a different name, but things change, and this is where it is now. So Ducks and Geese are the point cards. That means there's 5 ducks, 5 geese, and 7 tricks. Those aren't all necessarily out, but that's the maximum score in a given hand. Before the bidding starts, I'm going to turn over the top card, and that is going to indicate what suit might be trump. The high bidder has the option either to take that card into his hand, and because this is the ace, it almost certainly will get taken, in which case anchors become trump, or to pass on this card, in which case there is no trump, and the card doesn't go in their hand. So now that we know what suit we're bidding in, the first player is either going to make a bid or pass. They're going to pass, and that sends information to their partner that their hand is not all that good. Giant is going to take a look and make a bid of 3. That's the minimum bid, but it lets me know that my team has a little something. Will has better than nothing. He's going to make the bid 4, and then I'll take a look and I know that ace is worth at least 1 point all by itself. So I can up the bid to 5 or anything higher, or I can let Will have it for 4. I'm going to say 5. I pick up the ace, and that means that anchors are trump, and I have this nice little die to remember what is trump, so we're going to set the anchors there. It's got 6 sides, so we can put it blank side up if there's no trump. And anchors are going to be trump. I took the ace, and then I get to throw away another card. I have another ace, which is probably good, a bishop, I have a king. I don't have any other trump cards, though, which is kind of a nuisance. I'm hoping my partner can pick some stuff up. I'm going to throw away this 4 of crowns because it voids me in that suit, and it gives me some other options. And again, if you know trick-taking games, you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you'll see what happens next. I throw this away invisibly. I throw it away down, face down. And because I won the bid, I also have to lead the first trick. So trick-taking games are named after tricks, which you take. A trick is where we all play a card into the center, and the high card takes the trick. The definition of high card is the tricky part of it. The suit that I led is going to be higher than everything else, except for trump, which is always higher than that. And if you can, you have to follow suit. You have to play the suit of the card that I led. So when I play an anchor, you have to play an anchor if you have one. If I play a tree, you have to play a tree if you have one. Even if you have a trump suit, you still have to play a tree if you have one. This is how you deduce what cards people have left in their hands, and this is how you force people to play specific cards that you want them to play. Now, I've got to communicate with my partner without communicating with my partner what I can do and how good my hand is, And part of how I'm going to do that is he knows I picked up that ace, but I'm leading a different suit to tell Giant that I don't have a lot of trumps. I'm not saying that out loud, but I'm saying it. So I lead the ace of cups. Changeling has to follow. She has got this in her hand. She could follow with any of these cups. She can't play her trump card. She's got to play a cup, and she knows she's going to lose this trick, so she's going to play the lowest one, get it out of her hand. Now, Giant doesn't want to play a trump on this. It would be a waste because I'm going to take it. The only way we could lose this trick is if Will has no cups and decides to trump it. Probably will not do that. So Giant plays his only cup, the 6. And what does Will do? Will could take this and take it away from us, but he can't do that because he has to play the cup. He cannot play an anchor to trump this, meaning trump it. And trump means taking it away with a high card. He's going to play the 4. And look at that. After all that, the ace is a high card. The card that I led takes it. And that is 1 point for my team. We're going to stack our tricks face down. If we got any point cards, we would stack them face up. The points are the deuces and the farmers. So I got 1 trick towards our bid of 5. So between me and Giant, we have to get 5 points. I am kind of going to do that again because my ace is just too valuable to throw away. I'm going to lead the bishop of cups. Now, we haven't seen the king of cups, so it's possible I'm going to lose this trick. But again, I'm trying to take as many points as I can without wasting my ace, and I'm trying to let Giant know what's going on with my hand. And sure enough, Changeling has the king of cups. This is going to be their trick now, unless we trump it. But because Giant is out of cups, Giant can play whatever he wants. So he will play a trump card. He's going to play his lowest trump because that's probably enough to take this trick. And does Will have another cup? No, Will does not have another cup, which means he can play a higher trump and take this down. So because anchors are trump, they are higher than cups. So the 6 of anchors is going to take this trick. And it's not a point for the other team because the non-bidding team doesn't get points for tricks. But they want to take points away from us because if we don't make our bid, we get a penalty. All right, Will took that trick, so he's going to lead the next one. He's got the king of anchors. He knows if he throws that out there, I'm going to take it with the ace. He knows where the ace is sitting. So he's going to throw the lead away and see what his partner can do. I have to play a lock if I can. I'm going to go ahead and play a 7. 7 doesn't look like a very high card, but it's actually the highest number card. After that, we get into the face cards. It's kind of in the middle of the pack. I'll play the 7. There is no lock in this hand, and so Changeling can trump it. That's kind of a waste of her only trump card, but it might be the last chance she gets to use it. So let's do that. And Giant has no choices. He's only got the 5 of locks. He's going to play that, and that's going to send this trick to Changeling because she played the only trump card. So it's Changeling's lead. She probably can't win a trick. She's going to throw the lead away. I tend to do this a lot. She throws the lead away. She plays a card that someone is definitely going to play higher than. So Giant only has 1 choice here. Giant has to play the only crown that he's got because you have to follow suit. Will has got a 7 of crowns, similar situation, and Will's taking that trick now. And I've got no crowns. Remember I threw that crown away at the beginning? Now I can play whatever I want. I wonder if this is the right time to pick up this trick. It's only worth 1 point for us, so I feel like it's a waste. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to throw a card away. I don't want to throw away the 2. This is worth an extra point to whoever I throw this to. So I'm going to throw away this 6, and that's going to be Will's trick. Will leads. Well, the farmer and the bishop of locks are pretty much the same card. They're right next to each other. Still holding on to his trump card. Possibly a mistake to do that. So I've got a higher lock. I'm going to see if I can take that down. There's no locks at all in this hand and no trump cards. So whatever Changeling plays is going to be junk. So she plays the lowest junk she has. And Giant doesn't need to take this trick because I'm taking this trick. And so he could either play a trump card to get the lead, play a really high card and not take the trick, or play his other trump card and also take the lead. I mean, that's a messy bunch of choices. They're all okay, but it's painful to throw any of these away. He's going to throw away this king because I'm already taking this trick. And we do have a point card in there. Farmer's got a goose on it. So that I'm going to keep face up. And the trick I'm going to keep face down. And this makes it really obvious how many points our team has got. I've got 3 points here to my bid of 5. Well, the time has come. I'm throwing this ace. Let's see what happens. Let's see if there's any more anchors out there. So there's a farmer and there's a tar in Changeling's hand. The farmer is worth a point. The tar is not. So she's not just going to give me a free point. She's going to play the tar. Giant is going to play his lower trump card. That's pretty much all he has to choose from. He wants to keep the higher one for later. And because I played a trump, I have scared this king out of Will's hand. Will was saving it, hopefully, to take a trick, but he did not do that. I'm sitting right after him. He knew I had the ace. Whenever he played that king, I was going to play it, so it was kind of a loss. So I got 1 point for that trick, and then I lead the last one. And because I've been holding on to this 2, it's going to go to somebody. Let's see who it goes to. Changeling has no trump. I know Giant still has that bishop. So that's coming in, and that's a farmer and a deuce and this trick for our team as well. That's 4 points there, 5, 6, 7, 8. We made 8 points on a bid of 5. Now, because we only bid 5, we only score 5 points. The opposing team also gets their points. They get points for all of the point cards they took, all the ducks and all the geese, which was none. So Giant and I got 5 points because 5 was our bid. Changeling and Will got nothing because they took no point cards. So if we had not made our bid, we would get 0, and our opponents would get a bump equal to our bid. So if we'd only scored 4 points between us, then we would actually log no points for the round, and Will and Changeling would get a bump of 5 points. So you definitely want to bid conservatively. You don't want to not make your bid. But if you underbid like we did, we bid 5 when we could make 8, those other ones get thrown away. We only get 5 points because 5 points was our bid. All right, so that's how the hand plays down. Let's do a second hand just to see it in action again. All right, this was Changeling's deal, and so Giant is going to bid first. He's bidding for our team. Oh, and this is called the open card. And so when you take the open, it means you're accepting that card into your hand. If you pass on the open, that means you're leaving it down, but that's the open. So considering that trees is a possible trump, and this is a nasty hand, it's just low cards all around, plus a point card. Giant is going to pass. He does not bring a lot of heat to this fire. Will, on the other hand, has a couple of trump cards and a couple of high cards in a different suit. That's not a terrible hand. So Will's going to open the bid with 4. You kind of want to pressure the next team to, not to just get away with an easy bid. I have high cards, but they're not in the trump suit. Ugh. Boy, I don't want to let the other team have it for 4. I'm going to bid 5, and let's just see what happens, because I can't let the other team have it for 4. So now here's some lowish cards in the trump suit. If Changeling takes the open, she's going to have 4 trump cards, which is a pretty strong hand. She's got a couple of point cards, maybe to throw to her partner. And her partner did bid, so she thinks she has high cards. Now, remember the option of if you don't take the open, then we throw it down and we have no trump. And then just cards are just cards, and there's no higher suit than any of the others. But that's not what Changeling is going to do. She's going to go ahead and set the trump at trees. She picks up the 4. She throws away, she could throw away the point card so that it doesn't fall into the wrong hands, but she's going to throw away her lowest non-scoring card instead. Again, that discard is face down. And she decides the safest way to use all these trump cards is to clear her hand of all the other suits. So she's going to lead this King of Cups, in part to take the trick, but also to get that cup suit out of her hand and have more chances to play out of suit. So the King of Cups is the lead. What is Giant going to do? Our goal is to set the bidders. Our goal is to try to take points away from the bidding team so that they can get hurt. So he's got no cups and he's got no trump cards. The best he can do is throw a point card to somebody, but right now Changeling's taking it. So, this is just a nutty bad hand. He's going to throw away that 3 of anchors and wish himself somewhere else. Will has to play a cup if possible. He's got a bishop and an ace. He's got right below and right above this king. So, honestly, these are essentially the same card right now. But if he throws the ace, it's going to make people think that was his only cup. If he throws that, he knows the bishop is now the high cup, so that's the one he's going to play, and he will take this trick. And what have I got? I have 2 cups, the farmer that's worth a point, and the tar that is not. So I throw away the tar, and that's Will's trick. Will takes the lead. And remember that trees is our trump suit. He doesn't want to waste one of those. He's going to throw away his other lock and and accidentally screw up his partner's hand. I will take a flyer that the that either the farmer can pick up that lock or that my partner can trump this. My partner does not have any trump cards, but I don't know that yet. Definitely the king is going to pick that up because the farmer's worth a point. And Giant is going to say, well, I don't have any trump cards and I still have a lock, so what the hell? That is Changeling's trick, and that trick includes a point card. So we're going to keep that face up. We're going to keep the trick face down, keep the point card face up, and we know that team has 3 points now. Changeling doesn't have a lot of high trump cards. She's got a lot of low trump cards. She might be able to take every trick with these, but she's going to just get rid of that last lock. And yes, it's a point card. She's going to get rid of that last lock and see what's going on out there. Giant can do nothing about it. He's going to throw away a junk. Will does not have a lock, and so he's going to jump out there and play a trump card to pick up this trick. I do have a lock, so I have to play it. And that means that the 3 of trumps is higher than everything else. Will takes that trick and gets the and gets the point card, the deuce. It's Will's lead. Let's see what's going on with crowns. I have but one choice. Now Changeling is going to drop this 4 of trump. That tells her partner that trumps are cheap over here. And then I've got to play a crown. Giant has to play a crown. He plays the lowest one that he can. This is a farmer, which is a point, and another trick, which is a point for Changeling. And now Changeling is all trumps all day long and is just going to start leading him out and see what happens. Giant is cursing his rotten luck and throwing away the 7. Giant's hand is just so bad. So trees were led, so trees have to get played. Will's going to play that tree and pick up that trick, and I've got nothing to say about that. Now, we could claim that we know the hand is over at this point because they've made their bid and then some. But if Giant and I get any scoring cards, if we get any point cards, then we can get at least something out of this hand. But the fact of the matter is that everyone has no trump except Changeling, who still has 2 trumps. All of these tricks are going to be hers. She's going to get all of these points, which are also superfluous because all they can make is their initial bid of 6. But they did take those points away from us. So that's the basics of Ducks and Geese. Again, it's a simple trick-taking game, a couple of little variants from what you might be used to. 5 suits is different from 4, and the point cards are a little unusual. There are some other nuances in the bidding and so forth, but there's also some variants of the game which people almost always include. So I'm going to talk about those next. So the Vines deck and Ducks and Geese in particular have been around for hundreds of years in this world, and so of course they have lots of variants all over the world. They're played differently by almost everyone. And we're going to talk about some of the variants that I have listed in the core rules. Some of them make the game better, some of them make the game differenter, and one of them actually makes the game worse, but it's included because of the historical context. So the first variant is actually an older version of the same game. It's known as Dog or Straight Draft, and instead of having point cards on the deuce and the farmer, there's only one point card, and it is the tar. So the 8th rank card is the only point card, and the minimum bid is 2, and otherwise it's the same game. So it's the same game, but older and with less point cards. The first variant that people usually include is an optional bid of 0. So although the bid always has to go up, 0 is different. If you bid 0, that's always higher than the previous bid. So I can bid 0, the next player after me could bid 0, and then the bid would go to them. And when you bid 0, you're claiming that you can take no points whatsoever. Giant would have had a great 0 bid in that last hand that we played because his cards were just so terrible. If you bid 0 and you get the lead, your opponent actually sits out and you play those 7 tricks just 3-handed. If you take no points at all, you win your 0 bid. You get 5 points and the opposing team gets nothing. If you fail to get your 0 bid, the opposing team gets the points they got, and that's what they get. So, there's interesting rewards and penalties, but mostly it's like, what do I do with a terrible hand? Oh, I try to play it to lose. What you're going to find out, though, is that as soon as you are trying to take no tricks, it's suddenly really hard to take no tricks. When people are actually throwing stuff at you to keep you from taking 0 is harder than it sounds. However, There's also double zero. So if you bid double zero, it means your partner's going to sit in and you're both going to take no tricks. Winning that is worth 12 points because that's super hard. But usually a partner won't bid double zero unless their partner has already bid zero. So the bid's going to go around 3, 0, 4, all right, double zero. And then we're both in the hand. In the double zero bid, when we both play, if we succeed, we get a 12-point bonus and these guys get nothing. If we take but one card or one trick, our opponents still don't get points for their tricks, but they do get double points for their point cards. Another option that you can add, but you kind of have to agree on it beforehand, is called blind bidding, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You bid without looking at your cards. Now, in order for the blind bid to be legal, neither player can look at their cards because I'm bidding on what my team can take. If Giant looked at Giant's cards and then sent me any kind of a nod or a wink, I could bid blind on mine because I know his hand is good. So no, we're not going to do that. If neither of us have looked at our cards, we can bid blind. It's reckless, but the reward is that if we make our bid, the opponents get nothing. And so when you're close to the end, when the opposing team is about to just go out, like you want them to score 0 or nothing, so blind bidding becomes like the thing to do. You can also blind bid 0, but it's kind of pointless because the rewards are the same for bidding points and bidding 0. The opposing team gets nothing in both cases. So it's harder to make 0. I'd rather blind bid like 3 or 4 or 5 than 0. How do I know my hand is that bad? You can also play this game Cutthroat, which allows 4 to 6 players, each playing independently. It's getting more similar to other games in this collection, and I think you should check out all the games in the Vines collection because they're all kind of interesting. There's some that take real advantage of the 5-suited deck, including like a 5-player game where exactly 11 cards are dealt to everyone, and so on and so on. There's quite a lot of cool stuff in this game. Thanks for playing Vines with me today. I hope you'll check out all of the variants at Crab Fragment Labs and all the other games we have on offer. I'm James Ernest, and I will see you at the table.